I am Becki Hills. I'm a social media and podcast manager at Savills.
I'm Alex Birchall. I'm a director at FTI Consulting. My career path started whilst I was still at Sheffield University. So I did a year in industry, which the university helped me sort out. So I worked for a political communications firm in Brussels called Fleischmann Hillard. Did a year with them in Brussels, moved back home, did my dissertation, and then from then on, I've worked in political communications ever since.
So Savills is a sort of multinational property consultancy in its essence. I specifically work for the rural section, so it's Rural and Projects is the official name. So we look after estate management, so places like Blenheim Palace and Chatsworth Estate. And then we also look more sort of at the sustainability side of things. We do a lot of stuff with natural capital and biodiversity and trying to make the environment a better place for both people that live in it and the animals and creatures and nature that is within it.
A typical day in my job, it's difficult to place really, but I guess it involves a lot of monitoring of political developments and sort of global issues, campaigns for big corporates or NGOs, helping them to influence the political landscape internationally. Lots of different issues, but tends to be that same sort of thing: analysis, strategy, and delivery.
I can be doing anything from scheduling social media posts to go out on our Savills corporate channels, to recording podcasts, to trying to find podcast guests, to going out to events in the middle of nowhere and filming our rural agents talking about property and about equestrian stuff, all sorts of myriad things. So yeah, lots and lots of different stuff going on in an average day. That's what keeps it so exciting. Is when you wake up in the morning, you don't exactly know what you're going to be doing every day.
My favourite thing about my job, I would say, is just the variety of weird and wonderful things that I have to analyse every single day. No one client or one campaign is the same. So, my clients at the minute, I've got one which is all about energy smart meters and how they're regulated in the UK. I've got another one which is a massive sort of global infrastructure project in the Balkans that we're doing a big campaign around. And I've got another that's all about working with this company based in Yemen who's doing a lot of work with the UN. So it's all really, really different, and you've got to be on top of all these different things at once, which is it's hard, but it's always interesting.
So a career highlight for me was a few years ago. I just left Sheffield and I'd written an article for The Independent on veganism and eating disorders, talking about the link between the two. And this was then picked up by the BBC, made a documentary with them, which was amazing.
My career highlight actually happened whilst I was on my placement year. So whilst I was still at Sheffield University, I was working for a communications agency in Brussels, and we took one of our clients to one of the COP meetings, the global sort of climate summits. It was in Paris at the time, so I was there, 20 years old, with a client in Paris, sort of living it up, but also part of these big political and commercial negotiations. So yeah, that was really, really good, and something that I did while I was a student as well, which is good. There's probably 2 or 3 things I'd say I'd learned from my politics course that I still use today. I think the first is the importance of analysis and sort of an evidence-based approach to things. The parliamentary studies module that I did in my final year with Matt Flinders was invaluable because it taught me how UK Parliament works, the sort of hidden wiring behind it, and knowing the sort of unwritten rules that govern MPs and govern Westminster has been super useful in my previous job, which was UK public affairs, and now, because I do a lot of UK-based work.
So moving to London was always in my plan. It was definitely overwhelming at the start, coming from sort of a little village in Essex to then going to Sheffield and then coming down to London. But you ease into it, and I think London's one of those places where you don't need to be in London to have a successful career, but it's definitely something I'd recommend to everyone to do, even for a year, because it is just such an exciting place to be. There's so much going on.
The pace is different, the prices are different, the people are different, but if you throw yourself into it, which I did, and you've got a job that you love, then I think you grow to love London. Having studied politics, it's the place that everything happens.